Okay, so here's the thing with this review. I was filming, I was in the middle of doing my stuff that you guys normally do if you watch my channel long enough, and you know that I love to make the best videos possible when it comes to speaker reviews. But unfortunately, we got a little bit of a problem. So as of now, this will probably be the last video that I make for a little bit, because after this video, there's going to be a lot of construction, and they've already begun work down here, so I will not have access. So to help save on time and to also help with getting this video out in accordance to when I said, I've decided to do something that I've done with my other reviews. If you have seen my Soundcore Liberty 4 review, my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 review, I've decided to take the boring route, but it seems like you guys like it. I'm gonna sit down, no effects, no flashy stuff, and just talk to you guys one-on-one, be as real as possible, and talk about my experience with the Soundcore Rave Party 2. Now, for full context, this is a two-parter that I did with the Rave Neo 2. I was able to get a lot of stuff in there, so if you want to check out what this video could have been, but maybe we'll cycle back later on, check out the Rave Neo 2 review to understand where we're at in this point. Now, these are a follow-up to the Rave Party and are slightly a smaller version of the Soundcore Rave Plus, but there are a lot of differences. But to keep that comparison for another day and for a separate video, I'm not going to talk about it now. So instead, let's talk about the speakers itself. Now, in my experience, not only have I really enjoyed these just like the Rave Neo 2, but there are a lot of things that it borrows from the Rave Neo 2 in terms of features and in terms of also depth and other things, but it manages to expand on it and make it even better. However, though, there are some things that I personally don't like that make me say differently than you'll see when you get to the end of the video. So for starters, let's talk about the speakers themselves. So speakers themselves have a brand new driver setup, at least for the Party series. They are supporting 120 watts of power. So now it is on par with 150 watts like the Rave Plus, which are right over there. I should have pulled it out. They have 2 firing woofers and 2 firing tweeters, so now you have better separation, better detail in your bass, and also you have better separation in your vocals and trebles, and also clarity altogether. It does have the new PartyCast System 2.0. It also has the new Light Sync 2.0 as well, so you get better colors. As you can see, the tweeters are colored and the woofers have more circular colors around them. Also, you can put them in 2 positions. You have grips on the bottom here, so if you want to put it sideways, you can position it this way. You can also put it alongside, or if you don't want to set it up like this, you can always go back to your traditional, put it upright, and you can rock the house whenever you want. Now, in terms of battery life, these are on the weaker side, whereas the Rave Neo had slightly better battery. This is rated around 12 to 15, at least that's what some reports say. I was able to go a full 8 hours with the music being moderately loud, but turning off the lights were able to give me a little bit more juice. But I would say I'm not disappointed that the battery is what it is. I think I'm just more disappointed in the fact that for a speaker of this size, they didn't really put a bigger battery, but it's probably an improvement over the Rave Party, as I've never had a chance to use it, so you're gonna have to apologize about that. Now, in the back of the speakers, we do have a lot of inputs that are more advanced. So in the back, you have a microphone input, so you can use a microphone for karaoke. You also have a control where you can also change the volume, where if you're on the microphone, the gain, you can reverse it. You know, things you could tweak and things that you can do. It also has a DC input, which is where you charge the speakers up, because 120 watts does require a lot of power, but it does have a USB-A to input, so you can charge your speakers, or if you want to play music on your phone through the USB-A port, you can do that as well. My only negative with that so far is that I wish it had been USB Type-C. I feel like a speaker of this size, I understand the DC port being for it to have a specific charger to charge this thing up. I just wish USB-C would be on a speaker like this, at least for charging with fast charging. USB-A is not terrible, but I didn't see anywhere in the marketing that it's supporting the Anker IQ level charging, so maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I didn't see it in the manual, so you'll have to update me in the comments. Now the next thing to talk about is, of course, the structure of it. It is very good, it's very light, it actually feels very nice. It has a permanent handle at the top, so it's easier to carry with you. On the top of the speakers, you've got your buttons, you've got your layouts, you have the Bluetooth button, you have the bass up button, you have the light sync button, your volume controls, play and pause. It does support media control with the single W. You guys know the drill by now. And lastly, it has the PartyCast 2.0 syncs setup. Last thing to talk about, of course, in the back, there is a cutout for the woofer, for the airflow, for the bass, so it does allow for better bass response. And once again, just like the Rave Party Plus, it does have a nice cutout to allow for airflow to go. But you guys don't want to hear about that. That's just the tech specs. Inside of it, of course, it does contain Bluetooth 5.3, so it will have a nice stable Bluetooth connection. But I think the thing that you guys are most excited for is, of course, the sound quality. So, let's start it up. I believe this one just shut off, but let's do a quick sound sample. I have this one connected to my phone. We're gonna do a quick one. Let's get a sound sample in here so you guys can hear it, at least if there's something I can put. Here we go. In regards to the sound, it is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Even though it's 120 watts, I thought originally it was going to be very overpowering. I thought it was just going to sound somewhere in the caliber of like those high amp bass heavy speakers. But to my surprise, it actually doesn't have that much bass. Not to say that it doesn't. It does have a nice deep pronounced bass that's crisp and clear, similar to the Rave Neo 2. It's just that it doesn't have a sub bass effect that I was used to with the smaller ones, which I'll discuss at the end. That sub bass where you kind of feel the impact. But to be fair, it is a much louder speaker. It has more details, more clarity, and I think a lot of that is in par to the two tweeters and two woofers that it's using. And again, this is only one sound sample. Again, I really am sorry. I wanted to get you guys a lot more, but again, not easy on the time. But let's talk about some features that you guys can use. So if you hold the Bluetooth button down for a couple of seconds, you can pair both speakers up into a stereo mode. What this does is, instead of using PartyCast, if you have two speakers, you can connect both speakers into stereo pair, as you just see, and now you can get a left channel and a right channel. To be fair though, we should probably swap that, but pairing them together, you get something that sounds like this. Now, something to take note of though, real quickly, is that the stereo pair will pair in a left and right channel. However, if you pair them up with PartyCast, which you can do by pressing the buttons here at the top, you can connect them to PartyCast. If you're using the PartyCast 2.0 system, it will not only be able to share the sound separately, but instead of being a left and right channel, it will play a stereo sound through both speakers. So instead of being mono, it'll sound like a stereo pair, so you can use each one individually, but you'll get left and right separation built in. Now, last thing to talk about, of course, is the app. And also, real quickly, just to give you guys one more quick sound sample, because I really do feel bad about this situation, everybody. I apologize. So here's one more, just for your listening pleasures. regards to the app, again, I will put a pop-up so you guys can see what the app looks like on your end. But essentially, it's the same thing as the Rave Neo 2. The features are exactly the same. However, there are some differences that I noticed. And one of the biggest differences is the external settings, because now you have a wired microphone. You can use your microphone in there, but everything else is the same. From the sound source, to the prompt tone, to auto power, to updating your firmware, being able to do PartyCast from the app itself, the bass up technology, the EQ, the lights, even the volume if you want, and of course, they do have a game built in, a DJ setup. You can also be a DJ if you want when you're playing music and other things. So overall, the app is again the same as the Rave Neo 2's, but it does have one slight advantage over it, being that it has a microphone input. So overall, what do I think of the Rave Party 2's? Well, listen, I love them. I think they're a big upgrade from the Rave Plus that I have. They're much lighter, they have very similar sound, even though the Rave Plus is using bigger drivers and they are much, much bigger. These do the job very well at 120 watts, and I'm way impressed with this. But with that being said though, if I had to pick between the Rave Neo 2 and this is a little bit of a controversial take, but I would go with the Rave Neo 2, and let me explain. For starters, it's lighter. You can take it with you. It's much easier to go. It has 2 tweeters built in. It has 1 woofer, so you're not getting a 2 woofer, 2 tweeter system, but you have a passive radiator in the back that gives you better bass response, and it has a nice sub-bass effect, so you can actually feel the impact of the bass just by standing in front of it or even around you. So I like that effect also. Another thing that it has over this one, the reason why I would take that, is the USB-C. Even if it's just for charging, having that port is such an easy thing, because if this charger for the Rave Party 2, if you break it or if you lose it, you gotta replace it. Whereas it's more easier to just get yourself a USB-C charger and it would be easy to charge up. But that's not a negative on the speaker. I'm just talking my own preference. But as a purchase itself, I do believe that Soundcore has really hit a stride with their speakers. The sound quality is phenomenal, as expected. The build quality is great. The technology on the inside is what you come to expect, but the versatility, being able to pair them with other speakers, getting PartyCast, having nice lights and sounds, having the handle, the mic inputs, the charger built in, all that stuff creates such great value for the general consumer. And for somebody like me who's a speakerhead, this is absolutely amazing. And not only do I recommend it, but I would say between the two of them, if this is on sale for $199 or $149, because the retail price is $200 plus, definitely grab these over the Rave Neo 2's. But if you're looking for something compact but can do the job well, then pick up the Rave Neo 2's, because they're lighter, they're portable, and they sound just as great as these. And honestly, either one you go for, they're absolutely great. So that's it. That's it for the 2-parter, guys. Again, I really apologize for this type of video. I wanted this to be big. I really, really did. But I appreciate your support and I appreciate your understanding, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I was able to give you guys my input, my thoughts, how I use them. Again, guys, I just hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all on the next episode. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care, stay safe, and as always, see you soon with the next review, and peace!